Your urine smell might be trying to warn you. It's a small sign that something deeper could be going wrong inside your body. In this guide, you'll discover what most people miss, and how a few simple changes can make all the difference. You might not think much about it, but the smell of your urine can reveal a lot more about your health than you'd expect. It's a topic that many people avoid out of discomfort or embarrassment. But what if ignoring these signs could lead to more serious problems down the line? This is more than just a matter of curiosity. It's about understanding what your body is trying to tell you. And yes, by the end of this video, I'll share a powerful but little-known tip that can enhance your results naturally, helping you avoid common mistakes most people never realize they're making. Let's begin with the question, why does urine smell at all? In a perfectly balanced body, urine tends to have only a mild odor, something you might barely notice. But when that balance shifts, due to food choices, hydration levels, or even underlying health conditions, that smell can become stronger, more pungent, or just unusual. And here's where it gets intriguing. That smell is not just a byproduct. It's a message, a code your body uses to communicate with you. Many people in the US, for instance, consume diets rich in processed foods, high-sugar beverages, and artificial additives. Over time, these substances can overwhelm the body's natural detox systems. One of the first signs? Changes in your urine. But that's just the surface. Smelly urine might seem like a minor issue, but in some cases, it can be an early warning. It could mean your kidneys are struggling, your liver is under pressure, or that certain metabolic processes aren't functioning as they should. While this isn't a reason to panic, it is a reason to pay attention. Because the earlier you respond, the easier it is to restore balance and avoid complications later on. But let me clarify one thing. The smell alone doesn't diagnose a condition. What it does is invite you to look deeper, reflect on your habits, and possibly make small but powerful changes. This is where awareness becomes your best ally. Imagine drinking what feels like enough water each day, only to find your urine still has a strong odor. You might blame your coffee intake, or maybe that quick lunch from the drive-thru. And you'd be partially right. But what you may not know is how these choices stack up over time, quietly affecting your internal chemistry. It's not about cutting everything out. It's about becoming conscious of what you're putting in. Let's also not ignore the emotional side. When something about your body doesn't feel right, even if it's just a strange smell, it can create anxiety. That uncertainty builds stress, which only worsens the issue. But when you understand what's happening, when you know what signs to watch for and what actions to take, that anxiety transforms into empowerment. This is why you're here. Not just to learn what causes smelly urine, but to understand how to use that knowledge to care for your body in a smarter, more connected way. It's about listening to those whispers before they become screams. And remember, not everything that affects your urine comes from illness. Some of it comes from seemingly healthy habits that have hidden effects. That's why it's so important to stay with me until the end. Because that bonus tip I promised? It's not just a helpful add-on. It could be the one thing that helps you avoid making the same mistake that thousands of people make every single day. We're just getting started, and the next insight might surprise you. It involves some everyday foods, favorites even, that most people never suspect could be influencing their body's internal balance in such a profound way. Missing it won't just reduce your results. It might unknowingly lead to complications that could have been easily prevented. Stick with me. Your body will thank you. Let's talk about food. Specifically, how what you eat might be changing the way your urine smells, often without you even realizing it. Some of the most common everyday foods in the American diet are quietly altering your body's chemistry. And the signs show up in one of the most personal, yet overlooked places, your urine. Take asparagus, for example. It's considered a healthy vegetable, loaded with vitamins and antioxidants. But it contains a compound called asparagusic acid. When digested, this compound breaks down into sulfur-like substances that your body excretes through urine. The result? A strong, sometimes pungent odor that appears within just hours. For some, this is a temporary curiosity. For others, it's a recurring mystery they never quite solve. Then there's coffee. Millions of people rely on it to start their day, and for good reason. But coffee acts as a diuretic, encouraging the body to flush fluids more quickly. This rapid movement, combined with the natural acids in coffee, can leave your urine more concentrated, and yes, smellier. When you don't compensate with enough water, the effect becomes even more noticeable. But let's take a step further. Popcorn, specifically microwave popcorn with artificial butter flavoring, has a surprising place on this list. The artificial flavorings often include compounds that, once metabolized, release chemical byproducts. These can not only impact the smell of urine, but may also increase oxidative stress in the body when consumed regularly. It's a subtle change, one that sneaks in through an innocent snack, but it adds up. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Each of these foods doesn't just affect the smell. They influence how your kidneys and liver process toxins. In the case of asparagusic acid or artificial additives, the body has to work harder to neutralize and eliminate these compounds. And when your detox systems are busy handling food-related stressors, they have fewer resources available for other tasks, like managing inflammation or regulating pH balance. In other words, your food choices echo far beyond flavor. This isn't about cutting everything out of your life. It's about recognizing the patterns. If your urine regularly has an odd or intense smell after certain meals or drinks, your body is waving a flag. It's saying, "Pay attention. I'm trying to cope." When you start tracking those moments, you can take real control over your internal health. Hydration plays a critical role here. Without enough water, your body can't dilute the compounds it's trying to eliminate. So even a mild food influence becomes stronger. Imagine eating a bag of salty popcorn with a soda and skipping water for the day. Your urine, overloaded with sodium, artificial flavors, and insufficient fluids, will inevitably signal distress, and odor is one of the clearest ways it does that. And then there's timing. Eating certain foods late at night, when your body is winding down, means your systems are processing at a slower pace. This can cause byproducts to linger longer in your bloodstream and urine. What you eat matters, but so does when and how you consume it. So, the next time you notice an unusual odor, don't rush to assume the worst. Think back to what you had for lunch or what you've been snacking on all week. These clues matter. They help you decode your body's natural feedback, turning something awkward into something actionable. And we're only scratching the surface. The next insight involves a factor that nearly everyone overlooks, but it has a powerful effect on your body's ability to regulate internal waste and odor. Ignoring it doesn't just reduce your chances of improvement, it could quietly contribute to long-term issues that are far harder to reverse later on. Don't miss it. It's easy to overlook something as simple as water. Most people assume they're drinking enough. After all, they're sipping coffee, maybe a soda here and there, some juice with breakfast. But none of these truly replace the role of pure water in supporting your body's detox systems. What few realize is that one of the most common, yet underestimated causes of strong-smelling urine is dehydration. And it doesn't take a dramatic lack of water to begin showing effects. Even mild dehydration, repeated daily, can trigger noticeable changes in the way your urine looks and smells. When the body doesn't receive enough water, it begins to conserve. That means your kidneys concentrate the urine, making it darker and increasing the presence of compounds like urea and ammonia. These compounds naturally occur as waste products from protein breakdown and other metabolic processes. But when they become too concentrated, their odor sharpens, becoming stronger and sometimes even irritating. What's fascinating is how the body uses this smell as a built-in alert system, encouraging you to act before the imbalance deepens. In the American lifestyle, dehydration is more common than most would assume. With so many beverages loaded with sugar or caffeine, people often believe they're staying hydrated when, in fact, those drinks are increasing fluid loss. Caffeine, for instance, is a diuretic. It prompts the kidneys to excrete more water. So, while you're drinking, you might also be dehydrating. Even the habit of consuming high-sodium foods, something incredibly prevalent in fast food, processed snacks, and ready-made meals, further intensifies the problem. Sodium pulls water from your cells to help balance the concentration in your blood. When this happens consistently, your body ends up excreting urine that's both dark and odor-laden. And yet, these signs are rarely connected back to something as basic as water intake. What makes this even more relevant is that your urine is not just a waste product. It's a reflection of your internal chemistry. When hydration is adequate, your kidneys filter more efficiently, your liver supports metabolic detox more easily, and your overall system flows better. This isn't just about preventing smelly urine, it's about setting a foundation for broader health. And there's an emotional element too. Dehydration can trigger fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. Combine that with an unusual body odor or urine smell, and you have a recipe for discomfort and confusion. Most people treat these as isolated symptoms, not realizing they could all be linked to something as fixable as water. But it's not just about quantity, it's about timing and consistency. Drinking large amounts of water in a single sitting won't undo a day of poor hydration. Your body thrives on consistent, moderate intake throughout the day. A helpful habit is to begin your morning with a glass of room temperature water before anything else. This rehydrates your cells after sleep and sets the tone for the rest of your day. If you've ever noticed that your urine smells stronger in the morning, that's not just because of what you ate the night before. It's also due to the natural fasting and fluid deprivation that happens during sleep. So, imagine starting your day without rehydrating. It sets off a cascade of compensations in your body, and the effects can linger much longer than you think. Simple practices, like adding a pinch of natural sea salt or a splash of lemon to your water, can support electrolyte balance and encourage cellular hydration. But it all starts with awareness, listening to your body, and recognizing that the smell of your urine might be your system's first cry for balance. When you begin adjusting your water intake, not just in volume, but in regularity, you may notice more than just a difference in smell. You might find your energy levels improve, your digestion gets smoother, and even your skin feels different. These aren't coincidences. They're signs that your body is finding its rhythm again. But hydration alone isn't always enough. The next issue we'll explore is a little more complicated, and it affects even those who are doing their best to live healthy. Ignoring it could not only limit the progress you're making, but actually create new imbalances in your body that build up silently over time. Stay with me. It's more common than you might think. When we talk about living a healthy lifestyle, taking vitamins and supplements is often seen as a responsible choice, almost a badge of dedication to wellness. And in many ways, it can be. But like most things in health, balance is everything. What many people don't realize is that overdoing it with certain supplements can have unintended side effects, and one of the most overlooked signs of this is changes in the smell of your urine. Let's take vitamin B6, for example. It's essential for brain health, mood regulation, and even immune function. But in high doses, often found in over-the-counter multivitamins or energy drinks, B6 can accumulate faster than your body can use it. The excess is flushed out through your urine, often leaving behind a sharp, almost medicinal odor. This smell isn't dangerous in itself, but it's a sign that your body is struggling to process the surplus. And if this happens daily, your detox systems, especially your liver and kidneys, are constantly working overtime. Another common one is riboflavin, or vitamin B2. You'll find it in many supplements, and it's known for giving urine a bright yellow, almost fluorescent color. This visual change is usually harmless, but it's a clear indicator that your body is excreting what it doesn't need. And with that excretion often comes a stronger smell, one that's often dismissed as normal, when in fact it could be a signal to check your dosages. Now let's consider protein powders and fitness supplements, which are popular across all age groups. While protein is crucial, excessive intake, especially from artificial or concentrated sources, can result in increased urea production, a byproduct that is expelled through urine. This can cause a stronger ammonia-like odor. What many don't realize is that this is a sign your body is metabolizing more nitrogen than it can comfortably handle. And over time, this can create a burden on your kidneys. But perhaps the most subtle part of this issue is that many people take supplements without considering their full diet. If your meals are already nutrient-rich and you add high-dose multivitamins on top, you might be doubling or tripling your intake of certain compounds without intending to. The result? Your body has no choice but to eliminate the excess, and the urine becomes the exit door. It's not uncommon to think, if a little is good, more must be better. But the body doesn't work that way. It's not about flooding your system, it's about giving it exactly what it needs. And the odor of your urine is one of the simplest, earliest signs that something is off-kilter. Listen to it. You can start by checking the labels on your supplements. Are you exceeding 100% of the daily recommended value for certain vitamins? Are you taking multiple products that repeat the same nutrients? Are you consuming these alongside fortified foods? All of these factors contribute to overload even when your intentions are good. Spacing out your intake, lowering the dosage, or cycling off certain products temporarily can make a significant difference. And don't underestimate the power of natural sources. Getting your vitamins from whole foods allows your body to absorb and regulate nutrients more efficiently, reducing the risk of waste and imbalance. Your urine is more than a reflection of hydration or diet. It's a metabolic mirror, and when it starts to smell unusual, especially after taking supplements, that's your body's way of nudging you toward awareness. And here's a thought that often gets missed. Sometimes the healthiest looking habits can mask hidden stress on the body. That's why tuning into small, seemingly irrelevant signals, like smell, can offer powerful insights into how your systems are really functioning. But as insightful as this might be, there's still one major cause of unusual urine odor that's often misread, misdiagnosed, or completely ignored. And it's linked not just to lifestyle choices, but to deeper metabolic states that can carry long-term health implications. Skipping this next topic doesn't just limit your understanding, it could lead to avoidable complications that most people never see coming. Sometimes, even when you're eating right, staying hydrated, and moderating your supplement intake, there's still something off. Your urine smells different. Maybe sweet, maybe sharp, maybe just strange. When lifestyle factors don't seem to explain it, we have to look deeper. Because at this point, what your body might be revealing isn't about what you're consuming. It's about what you're metabolizing. And that changes everything. Let's start with something relatively common: urinary tract infections, or UTIs. These infections are incredibly frequent, especially among women, and often present with one key symptom before any pain or urgency shows up: the smell. A strong, foul, or fishy odor in your urine can be an early sign of bacterial imbalance. Your body produces ammonia-like waste naturally, but when harmful bacteria invade, they can alter that composition. What comes out isn't just urine. It's a signal that your internal environment is under stress. Then there's diabetes, particularly when it's not well managed. In this state, excess glucose spills over into the urine, a condition known as glucosuria. The result is a sweet or fruity smell, something that can be alarming once you recognize it. But many people don't. It's dismissed as dietary or ignored altogether. Yet, this scent is one of the clearest, earliest indicators that blood sugar regulation is off track. And the sooner you identify it, the greater your chances of reversing or controlling the damage. Another often overlooked factor is ketosis. With the popularity of ketogenic and low-carb diets across the U.S., and more people are entering this metabolic state regularly. In ketosis, your body shifts from burning carbohydrates to burning fat for energy, producing compounds called ketones as a byproduct. One of those ketones, acetone, is excreted through your breath and urine, and it carries a distinct, sometimes chemical-like scent. While ketosis itself isn't inherently harmful when monitored, persistent or extreme ketone production, especially without proper hydration and electrolyte balance, can burden the kidneys and alter urinary function. What these three conditions have in common is that they transform your body's internal chemistry. That transformation shows up in your urine long before more serious symptoms might arise. And here's the critical point. These smells aren't just background noise. They're early warnings, subtle, consistent, and remarkably specific. But there's another layer here. Chronic conditions like liver disease, metabolic syndrome, and even hormonal imbalances can also contribute to unusual urine odors. These aren't usually the first things we think of, but when combined with fatigue, changes in appetite, or digestive shifts, the puzzle pieces start to form a clearer picture. And by paying attention to those first whispers, you empower yourself to act early, when it's easiest to intervene. That's why it's so important to not just observe changes, but to track them. Make note of when the smell appears, what you've eaten, how you're feeling, and whether other symptoms are present. Over time, this creates a pattern you can bring to your doctor, your nutritionist, or simply reflect on to make better decisions. It's easy to dismiss bodily smells as something embarrassing or irrelevant, but that mindset only keeps you disconnected from one of your most powerful feedback systems. When your body communicates with you, even in subtle ways, it's an opportunity to listen, not to panic, but to understand. You don't need to fear these signals. You just need to be curious about them. Ask why. Explore what's happening. And don't assume that silence equals health. Sometimes, it's the soft, persistent cues that matter most. But everything we've explored so far leads to one final piece, perhaps the most practical and immediately actionable of all. It's not just about identifying what's wrong. It's about knowing how to respond. Because if you miss this last point, all your good intentions, your hydration, your food choices, your self-awareness, could fall short. Worse, you might unknowingly sabotage your progress by preparing certain remedies the wrong way. And that's where things can get risky, even for those who mean well. So don't stop here. The next step could redefine how you care for your body moving forward. Now that you understand how food, hydration, supplements, and even underlying conditions influence the smell of your urine, there's one final insight that brings everything together. And it's all about preparation. Because even the healthiest choices can lose their benefits or become counterproductive when prepared incorrectly. Let's take lemon water as an example. A simple, popular remedy, often promoted for its cleansing and alkalizing effects. When consumed in the right way, it can support kidney function, reduce urinary odor, and aid in flushing out excess compounds. But here's where many go wrong. They boil the lemon. Doing so can degrade the delicate essential oils and active enzymes that make lemons so effective. The better method? Use fresh lemon slices in room temperature or slightly warm water. Let it sit for a few minutes so the peel infuses without destroying its beneficial properties. The same principle applies to other popular home remedies, like cucumber-infused water. Cucumbers are rich in silica and antioxidants. But if you let them sit too long in hot water or store the infusion for days, it loses potency and may even ferment slightly, altering the effects on your system. Consuming these infusions fresh, ideally within 12 hours, ensures the compounds remain active and beneficial. Then there's the issue of overconcentration. People often assume that more equals better. So they double the lemon, triple the ginger, or add excessive amounts of herbs to a detox drink. But that can overload your system and, in some cases, lead to nausea, acidity, or even disrupt your natural pH balance. In a body that's already trying to restore harmony, this can create more stress than relief. That's why simplicity and consistency usually win. A single glass of correctly prepared lemon water each morning can do more for your urinary health than a whole day of aggressive cleansing with concentrated mixes. And here's the bonus tip I promised at the very beginning. For those who are generally healthy and have confirmed with their doctor that they can safely consume it, adding a tiny pinch of baking soda to your lemon water once a week can support urinary pH balance and reduce strong-smelling waste. It should never replace medical advice or be used excessively, but when used properly, it can subtly enhance your body's ability to neutralize excess acidity and manage detoxification. But again, preparation is everything. The baking soda must be fully dissolved. The lemon should be fresh. The water should be clean and not too hot, and your body should be well hydrated to benefit from any of this. This is what it means to work with your body instead of against it. It's about making informed, thoughtful choices that don't just respond to problems, but help prevent them from ever taking root. By paying attention to something as seemingly minor as urine smell, you unlock a whole new level of self-awareness. You start connecting the dots between your choices and your body's reactions. And that connection creates momentum, the kind that turns small habits into powerful change. So, What's the takeaway? Listen to your body, respect its signals, and prepare your remedies with the same care and intention you bring to the rest of your health practices. Because doing things the right way isn't about perfection, it's about precision. If this journey has helped you see your health in a new light, imagine what it could do for someone else. Share it, talk about it, and most importantly, apply it. Because your health doesn't just depend on what you know, it depends on what you do. And remember, overlooking the importance of preparation might not just reduce your results. It could slowly undermine the very progress you've been working toward. Take the final step. Your body is ready.